Because now with NIL, you could make just as much money here as you can there.
Handing out bags and handing out money. Deion Sanders is a very modern coach with a lot of old school mentalities. And with that, I feel like his thoughts on the NIL are come true with that, right? Nick Saban seems a little bit old fogey while Lane Kiffin is out there jumping up and down and signing anything he can. I think Deion Sanders offers a little bit of a tenured and measured perspective, especially being an NFL superstar. So today in this video, we're going to recap some videos that we watched earlier. We're going to connect the Jeremiah video and one small thing that he talked about, which could have been talking about agents, branch that off into Jay Norvell's video, and of course a Missouri head coach's video as they were talking about agents and kind of the whole evolution of NIL and transfer portal. Look, we are as you're going to be watching this a few days away from the transfer portal, at least this window closing is going to reopen up back in the springtime, so just be on the lookout for that, for the big names to be transferred out. But right now we're just going to kind of talk about how NIL has kind of impacted overall to the transfer portal. So I appreciate y'all watching these videos. Leave a like if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy that, man. Let's get right into it. So like I said, this is a topic that we talk about a lot. I like talking about NIL, I like about transfer portal, I like talking about Deion Sanders, right? So we're going to start with how Deion Sanders talks about collectives, and this isn't something new, so this is going to be really quick.
Be name, image, and likeness. So when we say name, image, and likeness, that means I need to see you endorsing something, right? So when you hear about these crazy figures some of these college athletes are getting, what do you see them on? I got time.
So what he's alluding to is the collectives, and of course the collectives is only going to get worse next year when we talk about profit sharing or revenue sharing and how that starts to matriculate down and how that starts to cut down on people's different rosters and things like that. But that's a whole different story for another Tuesday. This in particular, right, opens up kind of Pandora's box of where I want to go. The collectives and these big figures and what it means. What does it mean for someone like Deion Sanders, who last year people were worried that he was going to hop in the NFL, but I think Deion knows that there's too much good money already in college that it shouldn't be a problem.
No, I saw that clip of you talking with your sons. There was a joke about, okay, what if Shedeur leaves? What if he goes to NFL?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
But in this hypothetical world,
yeah, it is a hypothetical
how
world.
would you feel if he did say, I want to?
You got to understand now, you know that we're never caught off guard on anything. And Daddy has been around the block a couple times. So we've discussed every possible scenario that can be had with both of my sons. Well, all three of my sons, because Junior, you know, he's going to be up there photographing it and doing his thing with it. So we've talked about everything. It's no surprises under the sun with us.
So I guess I'm curious for you. What do you have to see from a player to say, okay, they are ready to make that jump?
It's not about what I'm seeing from them. It's about a whole lot of other things. Teams, position, round projection, all of that plays a role. Because now with NIL and who they are, shoot, you could make just as much money here as you can there. Excuse me. Unless you know, one of the first 5 picks. But Shedeur don't want to be two to nobody.
And I know that was a little small piece. I know he's talking generally more about the draft pick, but I think that's very important of what he's talking about, because what he's alluding to is the fact that there is some big money, right? And just like he said, people aren't signing a lot of endorsement deals, but it's a lot of money, right? And it's these collectives just handing out bags and handing out money that's starting to mess things up for the transfer portal and further mess things up for high school recruiting and college recruiting and kind of as things matriculate moving forward down there, okay? So as we go forward, right, let's get into the meat and also the potatoes of kind of this core thing. And of course, I collected some of the NIL deals because these boys be in commercials. Hey, they be commercialed up. And hear me, but this video right here, and when we talked about it, we were more so talking about the transfer portal, how crazy it is, someone hops in and hops out. But again, this specific thing, we're gonna listen to him talk about somebody's influence him, and I thought just parents, but
he asked how I was feeling.
I always ask how you feeling.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I wanted to ask about someone that you just alluded to in Jeremiah Brown. He withdrew from the portal. He's obviously going to be back to Colorado. I know you guys go way back. How excited are you for him to be back in the fold for the bowl game?
Jeremiah's like my kid, man. He's like my kid, you know. We played against him in high school. His head coach is one of my best friends, like a son to me, Corey Fuller. And Jeremiah took a chance on us, took a chance on me. And he came to Jackson, and he's always been a hard worker, always did his job, and always been just a good dude, a fisherman. We have an affection for that, which we share tremendously. And I was in Texas, relaxing, praying, and trying, because I got to make some heavy decisions on kids and life and all of that. And when I saw that happen, I'm like, why didn't Jeremiah call me? He called me about everything else. He calls me every time he catches a decent-sized fish. He want to call me, and he didn't call me for that. So I knew he was being influenced by something else.
He was being influenced by something else. Let's hold that, and let's bring it to the broader conversation, and that is NIL agents being predatory towards these kids, right? Understand that anytime I've talked about the NIL, I always put the onus on the NCAA, that in the transfer portal. It is the NCAA's problem that agents are doing things like taking up to 20% of these NIL deals. These are 18 and 20-year-olds, dog. I get it. They're not kids, but they are young men who are being taken advantage of already before they can get to the league and get taken advantage of.
And these independent agents call these schools up that they know have money. And they say, what if Kevin gets in the portal? How much would you pay him? Oh, I'll pay him $150,000, and they'll go to the next school. What if Kevin got in the portal? What would you pay him? Oh, I'd give him $175. And then another school might say, oh, I'll give him $200. So now this independent agent DMs Kevin and says, call me, I got some deals for you. And then they talk, and he goes, if you get in the portal, I can get you $200,000. Okay? And it's hard for a kid, when he hears that. And so these kids are not thinking about getting in the portal, but when they have these people call them and say, if you get in the portal, I'll give you $200,000. And by the way, I'm going to take 15, 20% of that. And so these guys are just stealing from these kids. An NFLPA agent gets 3%. A lot of these agents that are talking to all of our players, they're taking 10, 15, 20%. And that's really criminal, really. But that's what's going on in college football. And as much as we try to tell our players that and educate them, when somebody's offering you that kind of money, it's still hard for these kids, okay? And so, that just kind of gives you an idea of what's happening, and it's unfortunate. And like I said, we talked to our top 26 kids. They all have been offered a lot of money.
Wow. Okay. I'm genuinely surprised because I saw this. So I saw the 20% number. If y'all, I didn't watch that in full. So first off, that is crazy. Just when he heard the NFLPA comparison, I could have watched it up there, but 1 to 3% compared to 10%. I know 20%. First of all, it's an up. If you're paying tax, you're double taxed at that point. Oh my God. But just the 10% number from a 1 to 3%, I guess marketing agents take 10% money from outside football, and NIL agents are taking upwards of 20%. 20% of this kid's money. That's crazy. But I want to go back to that point, and I'm really happy that Jay Norvell had this perspective too, because look, and that's why I'm always on the side of the kids. It's like, dog, these kids are getting taken advantage of every single like that. Like I think people don't get it. Some of these people get on Twitter and they tweet fun stuff and they say, "Oh, you got all this money, you got these Benzes, you got XYZ." A lot of these kids don't. The reason why they're signing deals with agents with 20% is because they don't have any financial literacy. Is because $125,000 can save them, dog. Yo, $125,000 for me right now to play a season. Yo, I'll be good. I'll be strizzate. I just need me one of them contracts. I just need me one of them NIL deals. But But you get what I'm saying, right? This has been a historically an advantage for not just impoverished black people and black guys, but also impoverished people in general to have a good opportunity, right? And to be able to make something of themselves and find an opportunity. Now, right here from high school, you're giving them that opportunity. You're opening up Pandora's box, and then people want to like talk about how that's crazy and the money's crazy without talking about this. Not only are they're making a bunch of money, oh my God, how can they control their money? They're already not controlling their money because as soon as they touch it, some dude's taking 20% off the top, dog. Yo, that is crazy. That's absurd. And I really think it lends itself to what the state of NIL is, how we got around to this whole situation, right? And it's complete and utter buffoonery from the NCAA for them to allow agents to do that. What do you mean agents are allowed to charge student athletes 20% of their money? Are you serious right now? Now, and I get it. It's technically there's supposed to be NIL deals, so technically it's outside money. I guess you're going to marketing, but this is not the NFL. It's not. And to close this thing out, I just want to say that when we talk about the what's it called, the NIL, it's crazy. You can't talk about it without talking about the transfer portal, because the NIL is what fuels transfer portal and these crazy decisions. I'm gonna take you back to Caden Proctor, and I think this guy handles it a lot better, and he explains a lot better, so much because Deion Sanders liked the video. So, I mean, if Deion Sanders liked the video, it's got to be good. So we'll watch this and we'll close it out just as a reminder of a crazy story in the world of transfer portal.
College football is falling apart because what this one player was able to pull off in a matter of months exposed the NCAA and the entire NIL system. This is Caden Proctor, one of, and if not the best offensive lineman in the entire country. He just wrapped up his freshman season at Alabama, where he actually made the freshman All-SEC team. However, after the season, he entered the transfer portal and committed to his hometown school, Iowa. Caden was actually committed to Iowa in high school, but flipped to Alabama at the last moment. Caden actually earned $100,000 in NIL earnings before even playing a game for Iowa. After he received the $100,000, he entered the transfer portal to go back to Alabama. The crazy thing is, he doesn't have to give a dime of this money back. Caden Proctor is from Iowa, so this dude went home for 2 months, made $100,000, and then just committed to the same school he was at last season.
You feel me? Like how crazy, like I'm sorry, every time I hear that story, it sounds crazier. But yeah, man. So be on the lookout for the next Caden Proctor as this next transfer portal window is open. Somebody will undoubtedly be hopping back over, maybe hop back to Alabama after getting a nice little bit of money. But it's getting real nutty. And then when we add revenue sharing, it's only going to get muddier, man. Just a whole lot of craziness, man. But y'all be phenomenal. Like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy college football content, man. We'll see you next time.